The Bible teaches us that we've all sinned and fallen short of God's glory. So, what is sin? Well, as a Christian, I believe many have a basic understanding of sin. But with everything that's going on in the world today, with its moral depravity, a deeper look into sin is really needed. So, for the next couple of weeks, we're going to take an in depth look at sin right here on Higher Learning. One definition of sin can be found in the Nelson Bible Dictionary, where it states sin is lawlessness or transgression of God's will, either by omitting to do what God's laws require or by doing what it forbids. The transgression can occur in thought, in word, or in deed. In thought, let's look at 1 John chapter 3, verse 15, where it states, anyone who hates another brother or sister is really a murderer at heart, and you know that murderers don't have eternal life within them. In word, Matthew chapter 5, verse 22, if I say, if you are even angry with someone, you are subject to judgment. If you call someone an idiot, you are in danger of being brought before the court. And if you curse someone, you are in danger of the fires of hell. And indeed, let's look at Romans chapter 1, verse 32. They know God's judgment requires that those who do these things deserve to die. Yet they do them anyway. Worse yet, they encourage others to do them also. The violation of the law of God in thought, in word, or in deed shows the sinfulness in the human heart. Sin is a contradiction to the holiness of God, whose image mankind bears. So, how did we get here? Well, I am sure you remember those Sunday school classes or those Bible study sessions that talked about mankind fall into sin at the temptation of the devil. How Eve ate of the fruit and passed it on to Adam, who did eat. And because of disobedience, the one man, Adam, sin was introduced into mankind. Eating of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was forbidden by God. I believe that the devil understood that once they partook of the fruit, they would not be able to fully handle the knowledge of good and evil. Here's what I mean. People may have knowledge of the danger of smoking or drinking and driving, but yet it does not stop them from committing those acts. You would have thought if mankind had all the knowledge of good and evil, they would understand the consequences of their actions and steer towards a closer relationship with God. But in reality, all Adam did was create a schism between God and humankind and allow sin to enter and dominate the world. So why do we sin? Well, it is part of our nature to sin. Paul put it this way. So the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me, for I am all too human, a slave to sin. I really don't understand myself, for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate. But if I know that what I am doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the law is good. So I am not the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it. According to Nelson, sin is not represented in the Bible as the absence of good or an illustration that stems from our human limitations. Sin is portrayed as a real and positive evil. Sin is more than unwise behavior that produces sorrow or distress. Sin is rebellion against God's will. And we will stop right there. I want you to take a closer look at those scriptures I gave you and mull over what I said today. I believe it's important for Christians to really have a deeper understanding of sin. So next week, part 2 of Understanding Sin, right here on Higher Learning.